Well, it's all hands on deck. And the manhunt, of course, has been going on. These things are very intense. I've been involved in them, and it is they take the information, the leads that they get. They did the exact same thing that I would have done when he was initially found to have escaped. They start looking at burglaries, they start looking at thefts, they start looking at possible carjackings, that kind of thing, to get a pattern of where he may be heading and where he has been. And so now we're also picking him up on videos and so forth and so on. And I would imagine that they've got a pretty good, I would think from what I'm seeing here, from what you just shared with us, Ashleigh, it would appear to me that they have him contained to an area. So it's pretty encouraging, I think, at this point that there should be an arrest fairly soon.
I mean, let's hope, right? Let's hope, Phil, that it's actually an arrest, that it's not suicide by cop, that it's not something that, I have no idea. Nobody knows if he got his hands on any weapons. No one knows if any of the break-and enters that have been reported in this area are confirmed to be him, but there have been break-and enters. One guy said that he thought there was a bunch of produce taken, and that he was actually upstairs when whoever was breaking in was downstairs flicking lights, and the guy flicked lights back. He thought it was terrifying. It hasn't been confirmed that it's Cavalcante, but if he got a weapon, this is a game changer.
Right, and I would share with you that the point that you just made, that we hope that the outcome is an arrest, but I would tell you that decision is on him. He's the one that's going to determine the outcome of this capture, or he may do something to himself to dispose of himself because he finds himself in a situation that he doesn't want to go back to. And so it's solely, the ball is in his court, as they say, and he is the one that's going to decide the ultimate outcome here.
Phil, don't go anywhere. I want to bring Mike King into our conversation, also remarkable homicide detective, creator and host of Profiling Evil on YouTube. Mike, can you hear me? Are you there?
I can, Ashleigh.
Okay, so give me your thoughts as we have this breaking news that he may actually be contained within about 1,000 acres, a place called Longwood Gardens. It's on lockdown, it's evac, and the cops are saying very little.
Yeah, well, I have to agree with Phil. It's great to be on with him. But here's the thing that I'm thinking, Ashleigh. Number one, this while it looks, when you look on an aerial map, as lots of open ground, there's also a lot of trees, a lot of rivers. I mean, Brandywine Creek, I think it is, to the east, and there's ponds and other places where this guy could conceal. The thing that's going to be in law enforcement's favor is the fact that we're 8 days in. He's not getting rest. He's not getting, hopefully not getting food. He's probably fatigued from the heat and the stress of what's going on, and the dragnet has to just continue to tighten. But the challenge is, because of the dense foliage and everything else, this guy could be hiding in plain sight somewhere.
Well, that's the other thing. Mike, they said that there's been some thought that the way he evaded authorities in Brazil was to sleep in the trees, that he has practiced the art of being out there. And I think of Eric Rudolph, and I think of all those who've been able to evade, the Dannemora, pair that evaded authorities for days and days on end. And Eric Rudolph was 5 years living as a survivalist. Does that change? And Mike, just your thoughts about how it might change the strategy of tactical teams who have they've got a protocol, but then you're dealing with a guy like that. How do they be nimble? How do they change what they're doing to match what he's doing?
Yeah, I mean, they have to be looking into his background to see what his experiential level is in outdoor survival. If this is a kid raised down in Brazil and he's been used to going out in the woods and just surviving out there, he might have a hand up on many of the law enforcement folks, but he doesn't have a hand up on technology. So hopefully with infrared and other capabilities, we're seeing him captured on CCTV, and he's making mistakes like being in the house. And whether that was a level of arrogance or he was toying with people, I just can't figure out what on earth was going on with that weird communication going on in the house. But this guy is pretty darn comfortable. And as he's proven, he's nimble as can be. If he can scale a wall, he can climb a tree and hide in it.
Well, we also heard that he doesn't speak English. He's from Brazil. He speaks Portuguese. He has very little command of English, and maybe the flicking lights was the only thing he could say. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.